change out my outlets. This house was built in 1986. I'm going to replace this current outlet which of course is by the sink. Can be a hazard because it's close to water, and if it does get water in it or anything, it won't have a way of turning off unless it's connected to the GCFI switch, which is what I'm about to replace it with. So in just a few moments, I'm going to go and check the breaker box to make sure that I have no power coming to this outlet. I'm back and I went and checked the panel, and so far there's no power coming to this outlet. Let me do another check just to be on the safe side. All right. So now I'm going to take off the plate. The tools that I'll be using, of course, I have my vice grips, my voltage tester. This was just the little fragrance scent that was in the previous outlet. I'll use this to also check to make sure that I have current running along with my tester. I have my wire strips and wire cutters. And I also have an adjustable, adaptable screwdriver. And this is what I'll be using. So I thought I'd add on my electric screwdriver in addition to my regular adaptable screwdriver. That's gonna kind of speed things along. Bare gold wire is the grounding wire. In the newer outlets, it will be attached to a screw that will be green. The whites are the neutral cords, and they would typically be with a chrome screw. And the other side over here, the black ones, one of these is going to be really hot. And though you can't tell right now, there really isn't a black one on the top here that looks actually gray. Let's come in so that you can get a better look. Okay, so that's actually gray, but yeah, that would be black by today's standards. So I'm going to replace this outlet, and I'm going to place these terminals inside the new outlet. But first, I have to determine which one is the hot line. Now, first, I'm going to have to determine which of these wires over here to this side is going to be the line coming in from the box. And that's going to give me a hot signal. So one of these is going to be hot and live when I turn back on the circuit. And I want to make sure that these are separated. So I'm going to disconnect all of these wires, make sure they're not touching, have them separated. Now I'll check each line, each wire with the volt tester to determine which one is the hot one. As you can see, I wound up having to cut the wires. Even though I did turn the screws on the side, the plates that held these wires in place over the years, they have remained in place. So even though I turned the screws to loosen up those plates, it was not able to release those wires. Now the grounding wire, as you saw earlier, was on this screw, so that was unhooked pretty easily. So what I had to do is cut the wires, and I'm going to have to strip them about 1/4 of an inch so that I can insert them into the new outlet. I'm going to strip the wires, and then after I strip them, I'm going to then have to come back and find out which one is my line and which is my load. So I used my wire strippers, my wire cutters to, of course, as I mentioned earlier, cut the lines, and then I was able to strip them. Now what I'm going to do is kind of make sure that they're spread out and turn the power back on. And I'm going to check, in particular, not the white wires so much. I mean, I want to check all of them, including the ground one, But I want to check to see which of these 5 wires, including the ground, there's 4 wires, I mean there's a ground wire right here. I want to find out which one is going to be my line where the power is coming in from my box. And then that's going to determine where I'm going to connect it to the new outlet. That's extremely important as far as the proper connection. The wires are now separated. I'm going to get my voltage tester out. I want to test each line to find out which one's going to be my hot one. All right, so I know now that this is going to be the wire that's coming in that's giving power to the outlet from my main power source, the box. So I now know where to connect these wires on my new outlet. The newest outlets, the part that has a sticker on it, this is for my load. So that black wire will not be going up here. That black wire and the corresponding white wire will come to the exposed part. This is for my load because some switches only are getting power from the box and they're not connected to any other source or sending out power to another source. So that's why the sticker's here. So if this was not connected to anything else, if there was nothing dependent on this outlet, then this would only have 1 black, 1 white, 1 ground wire. But of course, since we see 4, 2 black, 2 white, and of course this gold ground wire, we know that there's a line and a load. So I'm going to now turn off the power and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back and I turned off the power, but to make sure, I'm going to check my lines again. Okay. All right, so testing each of the wires, I was able to determine that this bottom one is going to be, or it actually is, my line. So this is coming from the circuit. So what I want to do, I'm going to look at how these are grouped. This was kind of a little bit of an issue, and I kind of had to look inside the box, this electrical box right here, to see how the black and white wires are grouped together. Yes, black and whites are getting along. That's what's giving us power. Okay, so, but I want to bring you in closer. So, if you can see, there are actually, this grounding wire, of course, has a nut on it. But you should also be able to see that there are groups, and there are 2 pairs of like connections in here. Let me get out of the way. And one of the white connectors way back there has a black and white one, and the other one has a black and white one. So these are paired off. So this gray wire down here, of course, is the hot wire. And that corresponding white wire is coming from that same white connection. That tells me that this white wire should be paired up with this black one. Now, black is brass. White is on chrome. Up top, black is brass. White is chrome. Now, of course, these are kind of like a grayish name, but we won't get on that because it looks like it's just dust. So underneath this dust, there's black there, or at least a variation thereof. All right, so let's get to it. As I mentioned, the ground on the newer outlets has a green nut. The black is going to go on the brass side, or like a gold or side right over here. And the white will go to the chrome side. Now, it's going to look odd, it's going to look funny, but I'm actually going to mount these like this. And of course, all the words on here, if you can see them, are upside down. So you would think it should go like this. Well, according to the codes, from what I understand, this is not the way that it's recommended. It's turned this way because this three-pronged area right here, that top one is a grounding area. So if one cord was kind of slightly out and something were to fall on it, it would hit the ground wire and not an actual live wire. So that's kind of a safety mechanism, and that's something that apparently has changed. So this is kind of new, which is probably why the words are going to be upside down. But hey, this word is upside down. Nothing new there. All right, so here you go.
Yeah. Okay, I'm almost done.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it back on, and we're gonna see if this works. Here we go. We're about to go outside, okay? All right, so here we go. Let's see here.
Julia.
All right, so we're getting power to it. Let's see. Well, there's no light on her door, so let me go grab a little light. All right, so this is our little night light deal. So we do have power, as you can see. So the GCFI is now installed. If there's someone washing their hands and they accidentally hit the outlet, there's not as much of a risk. It also protects the outlets that are connected to it down the line. That's also on this particular load. So anything that's on the load where power is sent from this, they're connected to this GCFI outlet. So this is another safety measure for the house. Again, this was built in 1986, so it did need some updates, and I'll continue to do some updates around the house, and I'll keep you posted. But right now, me and Jax are gonna go for a walk. You ready, boy?